Welcome to Athlete Lives Network. Today our guest is Jermaine Fears, standout wide receiver, East Chicago Central High School, St. Francis University, and currently playing semi-pro football for Noble County Wolfpack. How you doing, Jermaine?
I'm good.
Hey man, I want to thank you for being on our website. Basically, man, what we want to get to from you today is just your history in sports, growing up in the city of Chicago, the pressures of being an athlete there, your college experiences, your actual pro experiences now, and then what you're currently doing in your life now. All right. So basically, just go ahead and tell us about your growing up in East Chicago.
Well, basically growing up in East Chicago, man, some people would say it's a lot rougher than other places, and some people say it's not that bad. It's all about who you pretty much hang around and what you set yourself out to be. It's a lot of paths that everybody could choose, but you kind of lead by what you was actually, I guess you could say, brought up around, and what you want for yourself. You want something better, and I kind of just chose to do sports.
Okay.
That's kind of how it went.
So growing up in Chicago, ton of athletes. When you was younger, you actually played basketball first, right?
Actually, when I was younger, I actually started playing baseball, believe it or not.
Okay.
Most people don't know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even though I lived in East Chicago, I started out playing minor league baseball, actually in Garrett. My dad was a coach, and that's when I started. I started out at the age of 5. And you were actually supposed to start at 6. I didn't never play T-ball. I actually went straight to the minor leagues, and that's kind of because my dad was a coach, so he kind of pulled some strings on that. But that was actually the first sport I actually ever played, and then came basketball.
Okay. So, growing up, who inspired you to actually get into sports? I know you got 2 other brothers, right?
Actually, 3 older brothers.
3 older, okay.
I would have to say it would be my oldest brother, Al. Most people know him from the E.C. Roosevelt days.
Yeah.
Nickname was Big Train.
Great basketball player.
Yeah, he was a big force on the basketball court. That was my biggest inspiration. I kind of followed in his footsteps somewhat because baseball was kind of his first love starting out too, but his size and his athletic ability on the basketball court kind of overexceeded his first love.
Okay. So your brothers and Al was a big motivation to you. What peers motivated you as an athlete growing up?
I would have to say the guys that was my age. Chris Woods would probably be one of the main guys, just because me and him kind of grew up together. He actually stayed 2 blocks over from me, but once we was real little, I remember the days when we had, like, I had a Knight Rider car, and he had I think it was a Bigfoot truck, and we used to race and stuff like that, and that's kind of what fired my competitive edge, and that kind of carried over as we got older.
Okay. So now you're going to East Chicago, playing basketball, summer leagues, school ball at Westside, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Kind of go into that and kind of let us know your experiences with that.
Well, my first experience was actually, I would say, a learning experience, and that was actually elementary. Growing up, our basketball team, we had a great deal of talent. And basketball, like I said, was one of my first sports. I was actually very athletic, and I was one of those hustler type players, but I lacked a lot of the fundamentals. And when it came to 6th grade basketball trials, I was actually one of the people that got cut. And that right there took me to heart. I made sure that would never happen again.
Yeah.
And I worked hard, that whole school year and that whole summer to make sure when 7th grade and junior high came that wouldn't happen.
Okay. So now we passed up middle school. Now we're going to high school now. Freshman in high school. Tell us your decision on when you started thinking about playing football.
That actually sparked, I would say, that 8th grade year. At the end of the 8th grade year, me, Chris Browder, Deesky, Big Everett, we was all leaving 8th grade, going into the 9th. We was talking about, how we was gonna have a nice group of freshmen that was gonna come in for high school, and everybody was talking about what position they wanted to play, and that kind of really sparked my interest, to play football, because I knew I wasn't the biggest guy, but I was a tall, lanky guy that was athletic, and I always had good hands, so I was definitely really willing to put my skills to the test and see where I was at.
Okay. Now you played your freshman year, played your sophomore year, and then junior year which is my senior year, there's no Jermaine Fears. What happened?
Well, that right there is what I would call one of the most, I wouldn't say the most, but I would say that was probably one of the baddest decisions I made in high school. I decided not to play based off of, poor judgment. I had a coach that was pushing me in the summertime, to work harder on my game and get myself better as far as football went. And I kind of used that in the reverse because, I wasn't used to a coach being on me like that. And this coach was actually Coach Tom. I don't know if some of the OEC Central players might remember who he is.
Oh yeah.
And he kind of took me as a slacker player because I was kind of talking to some basketball players, in the weight room after I had done my workout. And we kind of got into it and exchanged words. And I took the shorter road and decided not to play just because of that. And I think that was not a good decision to make.